Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So you're from Chhattisgarh, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are working with CISF right now.
Yes, sir. I'm undergoing basic training.
You are still undergoing our basic training. Okay. So tell me, Ajay, after you did your civil engineering from NIT Kurukshetra, why didn't you pursue your career in engineering? Rather, you shifted towards CISF, and then now you are aiming for civil services.
Sir, during my college days, I had an inclination towards the civil services. And from there onwards, I started preparing for civil services. In the meantime, sir, I got to know about CAPF examination and I prepared for the same. And fortunately, I got selected in the very first attempt of CAPF. So I joined it when my joining came in 2020. Sir. So that is the whole journey. Sir.
And the whole journey. Okay. So since you are from Chhattisgarh, tell me something. Why still Naxalism is prevalent in Chhattisgarh?
Sir. So there are various multifaceted reasons for this. First one would be the lack of development. Second would be the governance deficit. Third would be the security prospects. And fourth would be the socio-economic alienation which the tribals face. Apart from this, there are certain geographical and ethnic reasons as well. So these are the reasons, sir. Lack of political will is also a reason to it.
How to handle it? How to handle Naxalism in Chhattisgarh now?
So like I said, it's a multifaceted problem. So the solution also demands a multi-prong approach. One approach should be to have a development-centric approach where we can change the perception of the people that the government is with the people and the government is for the people. At the same time, we need to have a security enhancement as well, where we need to filter out the rogue elements and develop our capability with these more technologically advanced weapons and the activity mapping and all. And third would be, sir, we should have a more familial approach towards them. We should make them feel that they are the part of our own land. The welfare scheme should be online, like did in the Telangana and the AP model. So these models could be replicated in Chhattisgarh, sir.
Okay. Chhattisgarh is also famous for its minerals.
Sir.
So what are the chief minerals that are found in Chhattisgarh?
Sir, we have coal, we have iron ore, we have tin. Chhattisgarh is the only state in India that produces tin extracts. And then we have bauxite, aluminium, etc. Sir.
Now, recently, government has brought this Mines and Mineral Policy Amendment Act 2021, right? So, what are the salient features of this amendment bill, and how exactly it is departing from the previous act?
Sorry, sir, I haven't read about it.
Okay, you've not read. So, you had the subject of sociology in your mains, right?
Yes, sir.
You must have read Emile Durkheim, right? What
yes,
do you call Emile Durkheim, right?
Durkheim,
yeah. French call it Emile Durkheim.
Sir.
So tell me, he has said something on religion, right?
Yes, sir.
Using his theory on religion, could you please explain me the basis behind religious conflict in India?
Sir, Emile Durkheim gives a functional approach of religion. He says that religion is functional in society and it is a binding force which is driven by collective conscience of the society. And that collective conscience comes from the common sacred. For example, in Hinduism, we believe Shivling, as a matter of fact, is a piece of stone, and that is a common sacred that is believed by a large part of the Hindus as a common sacred, and these act as a binding force. So this is the common sacred which he talks about. People have different links to this common sacred, and for that matter, I just told you an example. So in the current scenario, sir, he also talks about society goes through transition when there is anomy in the society. And right now, the religion part is going through chaos and conflicts just because of the transition in the society. After a period of time, when society gets into a more structured way, a more complex society, then religion would have this collective conscience. Would be driven by this. Like we have harmony, but still we have some conflict at this present state of mind, at this present state of time. So this is how he would have explained it. That it's just because of the anomic situation, we have some conflicting ideas. Else, it's the
What is social
solidarity
fact?
and
What is social fact?
social fact. The social fact is a collection of collective thinking, collective feeling, and collective action as per Emile Durkheim, which can be driven by normal as well as pathological, and which can have a tentative substance as well as non-tentative substance as well.
Now, have you heard of immunization schedule?
Immunization schedule?
Yeah.
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ajesh, you're a civil engineer from NIT Kurukshetra.
Yes, sir.
You did your BTech from there, and that was which year was that? I just missed out on that part. Which year was?
Sir, 2017, sir.
17. Did you work anywhere?
No, sir.
No, you've been preparing for civil services.
Yes, sir. 1 year I prepared wholeheartedly, and then I gave CAPF. I got selected, and then I'm.
Oh, you are there. Okay.
Since then.
Fine. So from civil engineering to CRPF to aiming for the higher echelons of administration, IAS, right? Now,
yes,
this morning, the Prime Minister from the ramparts of Red Fort gave a modified slogan: "Sabka Vikas, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas," and he added "Sabka Prayas" to that. Okay. Now,
sir,
what, in your opinion, can be the social analysis of this slogan? Sociological analysis.
Sir, yes. Like you said, our Prime Minister gave the slogan "Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas," and with collective efforts of everyone. Like Sabka, I just forgot the exact word. Prayas, yes, exactly. Sabka Prayas. Yes, sir. So, like I recently talked about Emile Durkheim, which honorable a panel member asked me, Chairman sir. So, we're talking about from perspective of Emile Durkheim. It's like the whole society should work towards the collective goal of the society that should be progressive. That should be based on few fundamental goals, like the SDG goals, for example, to the current society, or the constitutional values that believes on equality, justice, fraternity. And to achieve these goals, the whole society should work in a collective way, in an organic way, not in a mechanical way, where each and every organs support each other. In a similar way, each and everyone should play their role to the max and should have a higher goal towards bringing India to the top echelons of the world. So this is how I could interpret it.
Okay. Now, can you explain the terms secularism and pseudo-secularism?
Sir, secularism is an ideology which believes the in lesser role of other organs of the state in matters of religion. Religion should be matter of only the thing which matters to it, not other aspects. Pseudo-secularism is when people follow secularism when they are not, when they claim to be secularist, but they are not. For example, sir, I can say, for example, to quote ISRO. ISRO is a scientific organization which talks about science and technology and being secular organization. But at times we have a notion that a missile called C-13 was not launched because 13 is not considered an auspicious number in Hindu mythology. And other thing, we have a ritual of drawing swastik on things and doing a puja and all. So these are not as on a very rational terms. These are not the tendencies of secular ideology, which departs from, which says that religion should not be the part of certain things. This is what I believe could be an example of pseudo-secularism.
You said secularism is only related to the other organs of the ecosystem, not really infringing or influencing the religious part, right? So,
Yes.
So what does that mean? I mean, what does that mean to you in terms of which organs you are referring to typically?
So, for instance, in history, we can see where the kings and the princes used to manipulate the church. They used to frame the laws as per their own convenience, and religion should be one's own personal affair. It should not be a coercive affair, like our constitution says. So earlier, politics, even state, they used to interfere in the religious matters. So by that I meant it, when society becomes more secularist, then the interference of state, politics, other organs of the government minimizes, and religion leaves to an personal affair of an individual, where he has the choice to exercise.
Right. The state of Punjab has been grappling with social issues such as the drug menace and the prevalence of cancer in certain areas. So, coming to the latter one, which is prevalence of cancer, which particular region is prevalent in which region of Punjab that is? What are the reasons for that? And what do you think could be done to handle that challenge? 3 parts to my question on cancer menace in Punjab.
Sir, on cancer management, the region which
menace. This is prevalence of cancer is quite a sizable population in a particular region is hugely affected by this particular disease.
Sir, to broadly name the reason, it's the reason of where the green revolution took place on a larger scale, where because of the use of fertilizers and excessive irrigation, the water level brought down, and the excessive fertilizers also went into the body through ecosystem and through biomagnification of the process of ecosystem, and the people are facing the carcinogenic substance in their body, and ultimately they're facing this cancer malign substances in their body. This is the reason, and the solution to it would be a more agroclimatic agriculture, since the cause of this problem is a faulty agriculture practice, which could have been handled in a better way. So a proper agroclimatic agriculture, where agriculture is done as per the climatic conditions of the region, not as per the government subsidies or the government policies. Second would be, since we are opting for zero budget natural farming, precision agriculture, contract farming, so we should have such approach in agriculture. And sir, the other aspect would be to increase the awareness of the people that regarding their own health, that how they could avoid such carcinogenic matter, and how they could go opt for organic vegetables. They could have correct labeling of the vegetables. Third would be the government policy should change, as the large population, you rightly said, is undergoing a life-taking disease. So these multiple dimensions should be checked in to come out with this menace.
Finally, I'll have a couple of questions around your civil engineering.
Sir.
I hope you're able to recall. Now, in the context of large complex buildings,
yes, sir.
For reasons which can be many, demolition needs to be undertaken. So what are the
Yes, sir.
common ways of demolition of buildings?
Pardon, sir, the last part. What are the
Yeah, common ways of demolition.
common ways of demolition?
Hmm.
Sir, I am not sure, but if you allow, I may take a guess.
Do that. Do
So
that.
we use some explosive substances so that
Okay.
the building gets demolished, and we make sure that the splinters and the particles of the building don't get to a larger area, so that it does not affect the nearby surroundings. And
That is the key.
yes,
That is the key, in fact. Okay, so it doesn't really splinters over the large area. But specific techniques, as a civil engineer, I would have expected. This was coming from somebody which is more generic in nature. Okay. Now, my last question, again around civil engineering, is what is floating slab foundation?
floating slab foundation. Sorry, sir, I am.
Yeah, you're all at sea. Thank you very much, and over
Thank you, sir.
to Gaurav.
Good
Ajesh,
afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ajesh, you are from Chhattisgarh.
Right, sir.
Okay. Ajesh, recently, some months back, there was a protest in Chhattisgarh by some tribal communities against a camp that was supposedly to be set up by the CRPF.
Sir.
And the tribals protested there for, I think, a month or so. So,
Yes,
what
sir.
was the matter? Why were they protesting?
So the matter was, as you said, the camp of CRPF or the CAPF, for that matter, was to be set up in the area, and the tribals believe that that is infringing their rights, because since that is a perception which tribals have, that a camp setting up by these police personals is against their safety, against their development, against their autonomy, and that is why, sir, they were protesting against it. So this was the
Okay.
crux of the matter, sir.
Okay. We also saw that when the Maoists they released a CRPF soldier, they made a video out of it, and it suggested that many tribals were there in that video while they were releasing the soldier. So, what message were the Maoists trying to give by assembling such a large crowd in the video?
Sir, to interpret that video, I would say they showed that they have a collective support from the tribals, from the locals, which would help them to flourish in that region. So they wanted to give a message that we have this support, local support, and we are ready for any challenges, which any further attacks as well, which will be a repercussion of some actions of the force personals. Also, sir, the releasing of CRPF personnel also showed, I would say, a compassionate way of telling that their cause is different and not killing of personnel mercilessly. Because if they could leave a personnel in this that way, because a video was also shown where her daughter, the personnel's daughter was shown pleading for the leaving his her father, and these all matters shows that if we have a proper communication and change of perception and the clarity of what they want, we could have a long lasting solution.
Okay, we can aim at having a long lasting solution. So, how many districts of Chhattisgarh are right now affected by the Maoist issue?
So I think it's 12 districts.
12 districts. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, has the government been able to, really make the tribal population agree towards supporting it for in its mission for fighting against the Maoists? Has the government been able to do that yet?
Sir, right now government is progressing. To answer to this question, there is progress, but there is not a final success, because that is why there is a key term called compact revolutionary zones, where the
Okay.
accessibility of the government is less. And what
Okay.
happens is these Naxalites come, they provide the food, resources, the facilities to the tribals. So the perception of tribals changes that the Naxalites are the people who care for them, not the government. And there is polarization as well from the Naxalite. So to an extent, yes, government is doing from the policies of surrender cum rehabilitation scheme. Also, there is a local Bastaria battalion in Chhattisgarh where the local recruits are being done. So these policies are progressing, and I guess these are good steps if we could channelize their energy towards our side, providing them livelihood and employment as well.
Okay, that's good. Okay, Ajish, what are your hobbies?
Sir, I am a health and nutrition enthusiast, as well as I like photography and bike excursions.
Okay, bike excursions. So where have you last went to?
Sir, lastly with bike I went to Kausani, Uttarakhand. So it was a total trip of like 200 kilometers where I went from Nainital to Almora to Kausani. Then I went to Ranikhet and then I went back to Nainital.
Okay, that's good. So Ajish, right now we are seeing that in many northern states, whether it is J&K, Himachal, Uttarakhand, lot of landslides are happening, and landslides are happening mostly in that zones wherein some road widening project or something like that is happening. So being a civil engineer, what do you think? Why are the number of landslides increasing?
Sir, while construction, like you said, the prominent areas of landslides are where the construction activities are being taken off. And while doing a construction activity, we should have a soil analysis. That is the first and foremost thing. And there may be problem in the soil analysis, the proper soil analysis and the foundation analysis, which could have been carried in a better way, because we are going for rapid urbanization and development, but at the expense of what we could see in the form of landslides. So we could have gone for a better approach and looking out for the foundation, the quality of soil, the quality of material that should be used, or we should go for some other alternatives as well. So this could be the reason, sir.
Okay.
The design, I would say, the design and the design codes would have not been followed in letter and spirit.
Okay, design codes have not been followed. One last question, Ajesh. The tribal problem or the tribal issues in Chhattisgarh, how will you analyze it sociologically? Is there a sociological reason also for this issue?
Yes, sir. So tribes have a fundamental issue of autonomy. They always want the autonomy of their culture, autonomy of the living, autonomy over their resources. So the fundamental issue is when they feel their resources, their autonomy is being snatched away in a way, so they retort. So the sociological analysis of this brings us to, they have a family structure where they are more believing in a matriarchal society, more egalitarian society. But with the development of mines and the industries, the women are being raped, the child are being forced to work. So in this way, the family structure, their autonomy, their kinship terms are being disturbed. The basic source, that is Jal Jangal Jameen, that is being snatched away from them. Also, sir, the education which we offer or the policies which we offer, they feel alienated. For example, the school teacher is not from their own people, so they don't get attached to the school curriculum. For instance, they have a very good knack for sports, hockey, archery, but these are not being taken into consideration while formulating the schools. So we should have a proper integration of their own culture, their indigenous culture, along with our own progressive mindsets of the country, so that we can bring them into mainstream along with having them in their own domain, so that they could feel that they are exploring their own domain as well as benefiting the entire nation.
Okay. Thank you, Ajesh.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You are a civil engineer. Have you seen the Central Vista project? Broad outline?
No, sir.
Broad outline?
Sir, I am
You're
right
not
now in
interested?
Hyderabad, so I am. No.
It's coming in the
You asked
newspapers.
me, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, I have read
Have
about
you
it,
seen
sir.
the outlook outline, basically the design which has come out?
No, sir.
You haven't
sir.
seen the design?
But actually, I'm undergoing a basic training, which is I'm into the CISF course, and I'm like busy all day with this training activity, so I hardly get time. So that is why I want to explore such.
Okay. What is GRIA and LEED ratings and certification?
So these are certifications that are giving to the buildings which are energy efficient and basically green building certification, I would call. LEED is basically
Oh.
from US. GRIA is Indian ratings.
India. Okay. What is your first preference of services?
So IAS.
IAS. Why not IPS? You are already a police officer. You have seen the working from inside. Why IAS as the first option?
So IAS as a service gives me an ample of opportunity to implement my own ideas and for my own self best interest, my own career development, my own new learnings. IPS is an equally good service, but the domain which IPS works is limited to law and order and few other things, whereas IAS gets a whole lot of domain, and I would like to explore the other domain as well, sir. That is the reason.
Okay. Do you think IPS officers, when they come on deputation to these CAPFs, are they able to understand the nuances of CAPF? Don't you think the DGP post or maybe ADG, IG level should be manned by the direct entry officers from the CAPFs only?
So there I have a view where there are certain forces in CAPF like CRPF, CISF, which I am in, which have a more urban exposure, and where the exposure from IPS officers is equally important because they are posted in urban areas and as well as the rural areas of the postings. Whereas the forces like ITBP, BSF, which are specialized in border guarding forces, the security management of the external security of the country, there I feel that the deputation should be restricted to certain level, be it at least there will be no deputation at least till ADG level, because their specialization in their own ground knowledge is very important. Whereas CRPS, CISF is a whole all India force where the exposure of IPS, because these forces require a lot of liaising with the local police in their working. And when an IPS heads an organization at IG level or ADG, SDG, AD for that matter DG level, it helps in smooth functioning of the force. This is my opinion.
So they should be a part.
Yes, sir. We could bifurcate with the border security and the internal security.
What are some of the sovereign functions of a state?
Sovereign, sir, it's the state can take away your fundamental rights if it's against the public order, morality, and the national interest of the state. It's also as per the directive principles of the state policy. If it should provide the basic facilities like health, education, and the basic human facilities like drinking water, sanitation, etc. And it should maintain solidarity among the people. Along with that,
sovereign functions, typical theoretical sovereign functions.
I cannot comprehend. Sorry, sir.
Okay. What is retributive justice system?
So retributive justice system is like the accused is given some punishment, and after the correction, he is reinstalled into the system.
Oh, that is again very that is different. That is rehabilitative or restorative.
Right, sir. Sorry, sir. That
okay.
is the.
You are also a student of sociology. Yeah. Yes. You are a student of sociology also. Tell me, a criminal is born or a criminal is made?
Sir, a criminal is made would be a more better sentence. Because, sir, what
why?
happens?
Tell me why.
Yes, yes. Because, sir, a criminal by nature has certain functions there are in society, which are on the basis of the collective goals of the society. But at times, someone digresses from these collective goals of the society, and then he turns into uh, a deformist kind of person, which we call criminal in sociological term. So, sir, what we can say is, suppose a society is having a lot of, like we have a broken window theory, where we see a lot of corruption, where we see a lot of clashes among the people, and people tend to go towards it. At the same time, in a society where people just badmouth about you, or they gaslight you about yourself, that you are a criminal, you are a thief. So there is a tendency for people to become more towards antisocial element. Also, sir, poverty, unemployment, and uh, are the reasons for few people turning into criminal. Also, sir, there are reasons such as personal reasons, which comes from personal vengeance or personal issues, which also creates a person, turns a person into criminal. So that is why, sir, a criminal, I would say, criminal is more a made rather than born.
Okay, okay. Can you tell me what are the revenue earning forces for government? Any security force which is
Sir,
earning
CISF.
revenue for the government?
Yes, sir.
It's CISF. Why?
Yes. Yes,
How
sir,
does
it's
it
the
earn
only force.
revenues?
So because we go and protect a vital installation of the government, or the, for that matter, a private installation as well, and the private installation or the government installation pay us back for providing them security and protection.
Okay. How
Sorry.
much of revenue did we earn in the last fiscal year? CISF?
So from CISF,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's around about 540 crores.
Okay. Can you tell me why there is many fratricides and suicides among the Central Armed Police Forces, especially the juniors? They commit a lot of fratricides and suicides.
Yes, sir. Sir, the reason for fratricide and suicides is lack of mental peace, which they feel, the lack of a good social connect among the people, a good family life, overburden people. So that is why they are frustrated in their work environment, and as a result of which, a minute triggers mechanism can act in an act of fratricide amongst the force personnel, and for that matter, suicides, since the force personnel at the lower ranks are far away from the family, the accommodation provided to them are not up to the mark, and the leave system is not that well managed, as a result of which they get frustrated and they commit suicide.
Okay. When was Chhattisgarh created as a new state?
So it was 2000.
2000. So it
1st
has been
November
almost
2000.
21 years now, right?
Yes.
Do you think Chhattisgarh has benefited really from the bifurcation?
Yes, sir. From that point where we got away, we have benefited because, sir, at the time we were a united state, a single state, where we had the resources were channelized towards the more industrialized parts of the Madhya Pradesh, be it the Pitampura or the Indore part. But now, since we have bifurcated and the resource channelization has done towards the Chhattisgarh region, be it Raipur, Bilaspur, Bhilai, and new education hubs and new developments have taken place in Chhattisgarh. And Chhattisgarh is now the power capital of the India as well, because we have a lot of water resources as well. And in the terms of resources, the coal, iron, tin, we are like excelling in these resources.
What is Ultra Mega Power Project?
Sir, Ultra Mega Power Project is a culmination where the power projects are where they add up. So there is certain wattage of energy, and if they give certain that gigabytes of energy they produce, then it is termed as an ultra mega power watt.
How much megawatt is there? What is the criteria? Okay, okay.
Sir, I am unable to recall.
So you told me previously that Chhattisgarh has benefited from the bifurcation, right?
Yes, sir.
So do you think UP or a state like Maharashtra or Rajasthan could also be possibly bifurcated for development of the region? Let's take up the case of UP. What is your opinion?
Sir, UP has a very diverse culture. Means there are various regions within UP as well, and like the eastern part and the western part, there is a vast difference in the development level. So if we bifurcate UP, then the development of the eastern part of the UP, which is lying next to Bihar and the other resources, other states, would be lagging to a very larger extent. In Chhattisgarh, we had resources to cope up with, we had our own mechanism to deal with, but in UP, I guess we don't have such mechanisms to deal with. So the development that is coming from the from the western part, could be channelized for the development of the eastern part, and I think as a whole state, it could flourish in a better way. The development from the NCR region towards the downward side is going through, and I suggest it should be a single state.
What about the other criteria? For example, population. We can set up new
Yes, sir.
industries in East India, Eastern UP.
Sir, but for new industries, I think we need development that is coming from a holistic way in a single state. If we bifurcate it, for example, Uttarakhand is a different state right now, so that bifurcation and the demarcation always comes on. We are giving our resources to the neighboring state, the interstate trade and the industries also suffers. So I guess a whole state would be a better plan when the eastern part gets developed at least to a level where we can bifurcate it. Then it would be better, because since it's a very large state, we can have bifurcation. But I suggest not now because of the disparity in the level of development and resources.
What is the meaning of your name, Ajesh?
Sir, it's the name of Lord Hanuman, and my father kept it since he is named Rajesh. So he just removed R and it comes out to be Rajesh.
Okay. Thank you, Ajesh. This was all the questions from my side. Thank you. Your interview is over.
Yeah, you've got knowledge. So I don't have much to say about that. Except for one thing. See, there are 3 subjects: sociology, anthropology, and public administration. Whenever a candidate takes these 3 subjects, and political science also, usually they get questions related to these subjects. That's why I asked you a couple of questions, like religious conflict and idea of Emil Durkheim on religion. See, his idea was completely, his idea was just opposite to what you said. It is the societal conflict, which is or societal change, which is getting manifested in religious conflicts. When the society rapidly changes, it looks for the central identity, and that is the religion, as per Emil Durkheim. So when that change, rapid change happens, you very strongly get attached to the central identity. So you got to read that. Couple of things, just brush up.
Yes,
you
sir.
might get questions related to sociology.
Thank you, sir.
So that's all from my side. The rest of the things fine from my side.
Ajesh, quite a few positive things going around the based on the interaction which I had with you. Ajesh, you are certainly very immaculate and a very good communicator. Pretty confident. You know what you're talking about, what you're describing. Is reasonably aware. However, there could be some suggestions. There is always a room for improvement. Ajesh. Now, coming to specifics, of course, your analysis, sociological analysis of the newly articulated or rather modified slogan, which is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, possibly could have been far more enriching, specifically emphasizing on the Sabka Prayas part, or all, as you guys rightly said, inclusiveness. So you could dwell a little more on inclusive nature of our society, right? And that could have been leveraged, right? So could have been a little more structured.
Yes, sir.
Always room for improvement. Secularism secularism was okay, but pseudo-secularism is a term which has been coined by people from some dispensation, which is typically a paranoid version of secularism. They feel that secularism is no good. It is more of leftist leanings, and also pseudo is something which is appeasement of a certain part of the society, right? So in that context, you should think just a little correction. You could also further look at these terms and possibly compare them, and not only compare them but also analyze them and try and give your own opinion or version, or what have you taken out of from these terms. Punjab has certainly, this wheat bowl of Punjab is Malwa region, where cancer is quite prevalent. Of course, you very rightly said excessive use of fertilizer, which has of course given rise to a lot of issues relating to soil fertility sector. However, cancer has been more attributed towards use of insecticides, which are toxic in nature, and this is in that region has become a very, very prevalent issue. So much so that there is a train which goes from that region to Rajasthan which has one of the oldest cobalt therapy and cancer treatment facility in Bikaner. So that is about cancer. Common ways of demolition. Well, as a civil engineer, you should have. See, the questions can come, Adesh, from any quarter, as I said. So around civil engineering, some amount of awareness, very basic, awareness about civil engineering. I'm not referring to deeper theoretical concepts, but at least with techniques, you could have article listed at least. Hydro demolition, pressure bursting, and dismantling. These are the three techniques used. I thought pressure bursting would be the more appropriate in terms of that, so that it doesn't create a lot of splinters in the vicinity of the demolished building. And if you see 9/11, that's the kind of demonstration one can really visualize in terms of. Then about floating slab foundation is concrete. Naturally, it's a concrete foundation type of mat foundation that consists of the hollow mat formed by a grid of thick reinforced concrete walls between two thick reinforced concrete slabs. So what it does really is to create that annular space which gives rise to insulation, and that to that extent it has the major variations in the temperatures are really taken care of. So that is where, specifically if the building happens to be air conditioned one, and you need to conserve energy. So point is that there certainly will be questions around civil engineering, certainly questions around your present engagement at CRPF. Certainly there will be questions around your optional subject, which was sociology, right? As Singh Saab said, that political science, sociology, anthropology, these are the subjects. If you're taken as an optional, there's certainly likely to be questions from there. All in all, you came out with a pretty confident communicator. As I said already, you have tremendous potential to do well, and I think you should push yourself up on the D-Day, right? Wish you all
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your valuable inputs. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Ajesh, I think you come across as a very confident and very calm person. So keep that up. I think, when is your interview?
Thank you, sir.
When
so
is
9th of September.
9th of September. Okay. So you have got some time to go. What I would say, Ajesh, is that keep following things which are related to your home state. There can be some questions, some specific questions. So that is important. And also law and order related things, particularly let's say also things which are happening in Afghanistan. So fast emerging situation. So keep a track of that, and
Sir.
and also related to CAPFs. There
Yes,
can be questions, how they are being deployed across various frontiers. What is the future role of CAPFs? So the questions can also be on those lines. So prepare
Yes, sir.
that and keep it up. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ajesh, you did quite well. You have a good personality, and I think you can score very good marks in interview. Focus on internal security issues,
Thank
the
you, sir.
justice systems, and all this, because they usually do ask people from CRPF, the overall criminal justice system also. Just keep a tab,
Yes, sir.
because I think you still have quite a lot of time for your preparation. Okay. And
Yes, sir.
don't worry, you will do well. You have a good personality, and all the
Yes, sir.
best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civils Daily.